Hey there, boys and girls. So I'm still pretty into the whole Christmas thing, but regardless, there is something else that we need to start getting excited for. 2020. The year is almost over and it's time to start anew. And with a new year comes a whole bunch of new horror movies. Deciding on 10 horror movies that I was most excited for in 2020 was actually pretty difficult. There's a lot of good horror movies coming out and I'm really excited to see a whole lot of them. I wanted to keep it to 10 just to keep things pretty short and sweet and to the point. So in that vein, let's jump right into it and start our list. Number 10. Fear Street. A murder mystery shakes up the town of Shadyside, Ohio. Feature adaptation of R.L. Stine's book series. This is a movie that's based off the R.L. Stine short children's series, Fear Street. For those of you who weren't familiar with it, it was very much like Goosebumps. It was all just like short little creepy stories for kids. I loved it growing up. I read it and Goosebumps just constantly, like that was my entire fucking childhood. So when I heard that they were doing a Fear Street movie, I had to look into it. They're not just doing one Fear Street movie this year, they're doing 3. The first one is going to be released in June 2020. The next one's going to be released the month after, and the third one's going to be released the month after that. Which is interesting to me because that's a lot of movies to be released very soon after each other. I think they're all getting a theatrical release. Yeah, it doesn't officially say that it's getting a theatrical release. It might not be for all I know. But regardless, that's still a lot of movies to be making in such a short amount of time, which does make me a little bit concerned as far as quality goes. The other thing that makes me concerned is we've seen Goosebumps get a big theatrical movie very recently, and that was leaning very heavily into the comedy. Don't get me wrong, 100% R.L. Stine books are fucking hilarious, especially if you read them nowadays. They are goofy, they are over the top, they are cheesy as hell. But that's kind of what was awesome about it, and I feel like leaning that far into the comedy is sort of unnecessary because the story is gonna have comedic aspects no matter what. So what I really want to see is for them to take it as seriously as you can take these stories. If they present it sort of like the 90s show where it's literally just adapting the book and letting the cheesy factors just stay and make that the comedic aspects, if they do that, then I'm really excited for these movies. If they don't, because right now, as I'm making this video, very little information has been made available to the public. Like I said, I don't even know if it's getting a theatrical release, so depending on what that turns out to be, you can just ignore this on my list. Regardless, I am kind of excited for these movies because of nostalgia. Literally the only thing that put this on the list. God damn it, these movies were made to capitalize on the me demographic. Number 9. I feel like this will make absolutely no one else's list. Brahms, The Boy 2. I don't even know why it's on this list. After a family moves into the Hillshire mansion, their young son soon makes friends with a lifelike doll called Brahms. So for those of you who don't remember, which is probably all of you, a few years ago, there was a horror movie called The Boy. And The Boy was kind of advertised as like your average spooky ghost haunted house type horror movie, except with the gimmick that there was this creepy doll that may or may not have been haunted. It was kind of like Annabelle. But spoiler alert for The Boy, at the end of that movie, it was revealed that the doll wasn't haunted. It was a man that was living in the walls of this old house, and he would creep out of the walls and move the doll so that it appeared to be haunted. But it wasn't. It was a mess. It was a mess of a movie. But somehow, The Boy got a sequel. So instead of putting more worthy movies that won't appear on this list, I put Brahms the Boy 2 on this list. Because I'm excited to see where this shit show can go from here. So please, take me on this adventure. Number 8. The Turn-In. A young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after the death of their parents. A modern take on Henry James's novella, The Turn of the Screw. This is a kind of more gothic movie. It is based on the gothic novel, The Turn of the Screw, which you've probably at least heard of before. It's a very classic Victorian novel, and this year, 2020, they are making a movie adaptation of it, which stars as one of the creepy children, Finn Wolfhard. And do we need any more information? Because I will watch literally anything that is horror related and has Finn Wolfhard in it. Production on this movie seems kind of iffy. Like, I was reading up on it a little bit. It's kind of passed through multiple different hands, which concerns me a little bit, but love gothic horror. That might be a big reason why The Turn-In is on my list this year. Number 7. Gretel and Hansel. A long time ago in a distant fairy tale countryside, a young girl leads her little brother into a dark wood in desperate search of food and work, only to stumble upon a nexus of terrifying evil. And the trailer looks so creepy. Like, if I could just compare it to any other horror movie that I've seen before, I'd probably compare it to The Witch. Not just because it's another horror movie or that's based around witches, but because it has kind of just like that creepy, like unnerving, like this is based off of the whole Hansel and Gretel fairy tale. And I am always here for a dark, creepy, scary adaptation of a fairy tale. Number 6. Antlers. A small town Oregon teacher and her brother, the local sheriff, become entwined with a young student harboring a dangerous secret with frightening consequences. So I saw the trailer for Antlers. That was the first way that I became aware of it, and the trailer looked pretty promising. It also looked kind of like one of those movies that kind of like how I felt about Brightburn. Cool concept, but when you actually watch the movie, that's kind of what I was thinking that this could be, and it still could very well be. But then I saw who it was produced by. I love Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro does not direct this movie. If he did, then this movie would be way higher on the list. But the thing about Guillermo del Toro, even when he's just producing the movie, is that at the very least, the movies are always visually stunning. So, combined with the fact that the trailer looks pretty solid, and the fact that I know that Guillermo del Toro will at the very least give us some beautiful special effects. So between those two things, I think I'm pretty excited for this movie. It is based off of a short story. If you want to seek out the short story, it is called The Quiet Boy by Nick Antsoka. I'm gonna write it in text on the screen somewhere because I think I probably butchered that pronunciation. Number 5. Color Out of Space. A town is struck by a meteorite and the fallout is catastrophic. So, two things drew me to this movie the minute that I found out about it. H.P. Lovecraft, Nicolas Cage. Do I need to say more? So, H.P. Lovecraft, because the movie is actually based on an H.P. Lovecraft short story. Nicolas Cage has been doing some pretty decent horror movies lately. Like, not good horror movies, but enjoyable horror movies. Like, he did Mandy. That one was great. Color Out of Space is a film festival movie, so it has already been out, or at the very least it's been viewed by certain audiences, and it's receiving, like, middling reviews. I've heard that it's not a great adaptation, that it's very Nicolas Cagey, and I really don't care. We got Lovecraft, we got Cage, we got aliens, we got the color purple, like the color, like not the movie, we got lots of purple. I'm here for it. I really don't care. I'm not expecting good movies here. Ooh, we're getting up in the list. Okay. Now things are gonna get kind of exciting. These are the movies that I'm really excited about. Number 4. Terrifier 2. After being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to Miles County, where he must hunt down and destroy a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. Okay, for those of you who aren't aware of what Terrifier is, go watch my Art the Clown video. I go into more details talking about Art the Clown, Terrifier, Damien Leon, all of that. Terrifier was a horror movie. It was kind of an interesting movie because it was kind of like an indie horror movie, but it very much found its audience. The reason why I watched Terrifier for the first time was because I had seen Art the Clown around a lot in just horror communities. A lot of people like to talk about Art the Clown. His image appeared quite a bit in all like fan art and stuff like that. So I was really curious to check it out because he had such a fan following. And the movie's really good. I very much enjoyed the first Terrifier. It's very loose on plot. It's literally just Art the Clown kills people. And that's pretty much just what I'm expecting from Terrifier 2. I'm expecting, because we know that David Howard Thornton is coming back to play Art the Clown again. We know Damien Leon's still the one behind the scenes because he will be until he dies. I'm pretty sure that Damien Leon's only purpose in life is to continue pushing Art the Clown on us. We also know that Felissa Rose of Sleepaway Camp fame is going to be in the movie. So we can already tell that Damien Leon is once again bringing back that respect for the history of slasher films. This is what I love about horror, is things like Terrifier 2, where you have like these specific people and these characters and these actors that you just, they gain these the followings and people just adore them and they care about them and they want to keep seeing them in these movies and they want that reference and they want that callback, and it becomes special and it becomes important, and not because it was good but because it made an impact on people and people fucking love it. And I don't care if Terrifier 2 is good or bad or anything like that. I care to see Art the Clown return and to kill some people, and for it to be gory and amazing, and Felissa Rose to be amazing because we all know she's gonna be, because she's fucking Felissa Rose. I mean, come on. Number 3. The Grudge. A house is cursed by a vengeful ghost that dooms those who enter it with a violent death. Okay, so background. When I was like 14, I had this really random obsession with Japanese horror movies because I don't know, I guess that I thought that I was cool. I think that this was during the time that the big trend in America was to remake Japanese horror movies, and they were never nearly as good as the original. One really big example of that is Ju-on versus The Grudge. The Grudge was terrible. The one with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Ju-on was probably my favorite movie for a period of time. Like, I was obsessed with Ju-on. As I said, American horror movies that remake Japanese or any foreign type of horror movies, they tend not to be as good as the original. But then we got the announcement that Sam Raimi is behind the scenes, and that it's by the same people who did the remake to Evil Dead and who did Don't Breathe. Yeah, I'm here for that. There are a few themes that I'm very curious to see. Ju-on is, at the end of the day, it's a victim of spousal abuse. I'm curious to see that theme brought into a modern American horror movie, and I'm very curious to see how they'll deal with that. I've also heard that they're not doing like a straight out remake, they're more inspired by. I have a lot of faith in this team, so I am very curious to see them take on not only another horror project, but a horror project that I'm familiar with, that I love, and that I want to see continued in this sort of way. Number 2. Candyman. 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 A spiritual sequel to the 1992 horror film Candyman that returns to the now gentrified Chicago neighborhood where the legend began. Okay, so my reasons for being excited for this movie are going to be very similar to my reasons for being excited for The Grudge. 1. I love Candyman. The first Candyman is amazing, mostly because of Tony Todd. 2. Tony Todd is returning for the sequel. There were a lot of theories for a while there that someone else would be cast. Maybe Hollywood would want someone younger, sexier, all of that kind of stuff. But it has been announced officially that Tony Todd is returning to the role. Reason 3. Jordan Peele is doing the movie. And if I trust anyone to make another Candyman movie, I trust Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is 100% going to discuss race from a more qualified position. Finally, we're here. Number 1. Halloween Kills. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode continues in the next thrilling chapter of the Halloween series. There was no other movie that could have possibly made the number 1 spot this year. What do I need to say about this? It's a Halloween movie. I don't care if it's good. I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if they bring anyone back from the original movies. I don't care if the script is written by a chimpanzee that they locked in a room for 3 days. In fact, I'd prefer if it was. I don't care. I'm still gonna be excited for it. It's still gonna be my number 1 movie, not just a horror movie, my number 1 movie of 2020. But that being said, there are still reasons for me to be super excited about this movie. Nick Castle and James Jude Courtney are returning to play Michael Myers yet again, which Nick Castle is the original, so yes, please. But also James Jude Courtney is the face of Old Man Michaels as far as I'm concerned. Old Man Michaels. Old Man Michaels out there stabbing some people. Very stabby boy, that one. Jamie Lee Curtis returns, and that's exciting. It's written by the same people who did Halloween 2018, which, this is a long story, but that movie is kind of the reason why I have my channel now the way that it is. I saw that movie in theaters, and it just reminded me so much of why I love these movies. I love Halloween, I love Michael Myers. What more does a girl need? Anyway, that's my list. So, as part of this video, I'm also going to give you a New Year's resolution, which is that I really want to do some more relevant horror movies this year. I love talking about the classics, and I probably will still talk about the classics, but I do kind of want to challenge myself to talk about like more relevant stuff every once in a while. And this is how I'm doing that. Every single movie that is appearing on this list, from 10 to 1, I will do a review of at some point in the year. You have my word as a serious film critic. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for an amazing 2019. This year has been incredible. I'm just so grateful for all of you. Like, thank you. And on that note, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Love you.